What's up, everyone? I'm Jake, and we're finally doing another roundtable. It's been a few months, but tonight I have Kurt, a.k.a. the Kurt Locker, Mark, a.k.a. Flex Marks the Spot, Rob, a.k.a. Vintage Weights PGH, and then Jonathan, a.k.a. No Fate 247. We have a number of topics tonight. We're going to start with a couple of true or false. So number one, true or false, Rep 1 2022.
True.
Absolutely true.
I'm weighing in true as well. Sorry to be boring.
True. I'm not going to go against the grain here.
Yep. All right. Well, do we have any second place?
Bells of Steel, maybe, for the hybrid rack that they put out. They put out a couple other pieces as well, a lot of their attachments.
I think Surplus Strength really, established themselves more dominantly this year.
Yeah, I'd agree. So I think I'm leaning more towards like the Bells of Steel. I'm still waiting for Titan to come out with this mystery year that's supposed to be amazing, and unfortunately, Rogue just kind of kept. I don't know, like everything was hitting the target, but none of it was in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What exactly do you mean by that, Kurt?
So so even if we take, in my opinion, Rogue's best product of 2022, which would be the CB4, the camber bar, the first few that came off the line, and by few, I mean a little bit more than a few. Were needing to be rebent. There was little issues in fabrication, things that we're not used to seeing from Rogue. Like typically when you buy something from Rogue, you're getting the finished product from the get-go. That and the multi-grip bar being really wide. The big complaint that I got was that it didn't seem like it was actually evaluated by anybody, maybe external to Rogue. Not that external is important for Rogue, but getting athlete input from end users can be very important. I think that we saw Rogue actually step up with things like the Manta Ray, which I'm suspecting is going to come out in 23 with Matt Pendergraft's teases that he's had of it. So that's kind of the why there. It seems like they're having better luck doing other products, so taking on Kabuki's Transformer bar. I've seen some teas for that. And then, of course, the Cadillac bar. But I'm not sure if the innovation side of the house is really what their focus is this year. But that's why Rogue's kind of missing it.
Rob, I think you were going to start saying something.
Yeah, I was just going to say that whenever I saw that on Basement Brandon's feed, that on his Instagram, that his bar from Rogue was faulty, it just spoke volumes to me. And I mean, I might be reading too much into it, but I just immediately thought, of all the bars you're sending out, not that like an influencer online should really get any special treatment, but you would think from like a marketing and just a business standpoint, you would really QC that thing. Like, this is going to be seen by a lot of eyes. This guy is going to review it. Let's make sure this is sharp. So it just, wow, I that stood out to me. And it ties into something you spoke about with Adam on Garage Gym Experiment with your predictions with Rogue, and maybe not really having too much concern about the home gym community. And it made me think of that whenever you and Adam were talking about that on the last episode. I thought about the squat bar. Like, yeah, I mean, they didn't care enough to send one of the biggest influencers a nice bar.
Yeah. Let's move on to topic number 2, true or false. Titan will impress us with new equipment releases this year. We know they already came out with the open trap bar, but
so
the whole year.
The question is, will they impress us?
That's the question.
They impress the home gym community, not you specifically, but the home gym community at large.
Okay, that's a good way to spin it.
But even then, I think that Rep and Bells of Steel have set the bar so high when it comes to the import equipment game. Titan would have to come in with some very affordable products to beat companies like Giant, to beat companies like Rep, and to beat companies like Bells of Steel, because they're coming in with well-engineered, well-thought-out equipment. The days of the Titan V1 being kind of magoo and you got to get a new one, I think those are kind of over, because all the other import companies have really stepped up the game. Now, what I'm curious to see, we've traditionally seen Titan kind of replicate equipment from other large name manufacturers. Are we going to see
Allegedly,
Titan replicate?
allegedly,
yeah.
Are
we going to see replications of equipment coming from other import manufacturers now? That would be what I'm kind of curious. But as for, are they going to impress me? You know what? Sure, yeah. Bring it on. Trying to have an open mind for 2023.
You made a good point, Jonathan, about, it's not you personally, it's the whole community. I mean, can you expound on that? What do you?
Well, I think,
think?
Listen, I watch Curtis, and he's like lifting logs. He's doing all this crazy stuff in his home gym. The average person is more like me, which is not very strong. It has enough room and space for like one hex bar, one safety squat bar. They're not going to have like 20 multi-grip cambered bars on their back wall. So, the expectation for us, for people that are in the know, is a lot higher than the average person who's just like, I just want to get 3 good workouts in a week and go play with my kids and go drinking on Friday night. So I think the expectation for what Titan has to actually come in at is a lot lower than we hold them to.
That's fair.
It's an interesting
No, they're not
perspective.
going. That's a false. They're not going to impress us at all. I think they capitalized on copying items, which was fine, and selling them at a lower price. And now, because of inflation and cost of shipping, they can't come in low enough to out handle the companies that are producing significantly better products.
I think, in my opinion, Titan's biggest misstep was trying to tiptoe into the Made in USA game. They had a couple barbells. They should have just gone full bore with some, a huge product lineup, Made in USA or not. But the whole kind of tiptoe into it, and now I don't see much advertising for it. They should have just stayed in their lane. But it's almost like they wanted to earn more respect than they were getting. But by staying in their lane, what I mean is just that there was not that long ago, before I really started, finding some good stuff on the used market, that's all I could afford was Titan. I wanted a strongman log. It was on sale for $$30. And even that, I had to set aside a little cash at the time to grab it. And it worked, and it still works. It's still the log I have. Is it a cheap log? And on my talk with Kurt on Home Gym History, would I like to get a better one? Yeah, but it's working. It's functional. So I agree with Jonathan that, not everybody needs top of the line, and not everyone can afford top of the line. And if Titan just stays in their lane, if they just kind of provide a decent quality product at a cheaper price, they might be able to impress the community at large.
I think kind of the same thing, that they are going to impress more of the general masses. I don't think they're going to come out with anything, groundbreaking and revolutionary by any means. But I don't know if any of you guys caught their AMA over at the home gym subreddit. They were pretty confident, talking big game there. I think they even name dropped the Aries, Reps Aries, as well as something, that they were going to, look to compete with, So just based off of everything they were saying there, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're going to come out with a lot of the innovative products that we've seen, over the past couple of years from the other main companies out there, but add their own Titan spin to it. And if they can, come out with something, even similar to the Aries and make it, universal to other racks, and even, come in at a better price point as well. I think, that alone would put them in a good spot to, impress in 2023.
As much as we bash Titan sometimes, and just because it's fun to do, their open trap bar sold out. Whether you think it was overpriced or it wasn't designed well, it's sold out. You have to pre-order the next round now if you want to pick one up.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder though, maybe you guys can weigh in on this, the value of engagement with the customer base that I see Rep, on the Discord. I see Rep engaging online, listening. I see Bells of Steel having people visit. Gluck was there, and Bells of Steel came on Garage Gym Experiment. Am I just missing it? I mean, I think I remember there was the AMA. I couldn't catch that, and then sorry if I get his title wrong, the president or CEO was on Garage Gym Reviews from Titan. Other than that, are they engaged in any way?
They pop in here and there, but yeah, it's not anything regular from what I've seen.
So maybe that's where they're lacking, and they need to step up their game is, getting involved, listening to people.
Yeah. Well, you guys made some very good points. I think I really liked what Kurt said at the beginning. There's a lot more, import competition, and they're releasing pretty polished items straight off the bat. So, that's definitely going to make Titan have to up their game if they want to be considered in the long run. All right. Next up, you guys all, I'm sure, got your hands on a good amount of equipment last year. What was the favorite piece you touched? It can be a 2022 release or just something new you had.
I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but again, I'm going to bring up the Aries, as you can see behind me. I've been wanting a functional trainer for the longest time. Just didn't have the spot here in the basement, to put a standalone machine. So having it all in a compact unit without having to give up the pull down low row, made it a no brainer for me. And I mean, and even out, I was I bought it, within the first couple minutes it was on sale, and I have no regrets up to this point. So hands down, my number one piece from 2022.
Trying to remember what I got in 2022 specifically.
My problem
I had a lot for me. It was. Oh, go ahead, Kurt.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just gonna fill space with words.
My problem is most of the things I got are old. So I'll let you guys go. Go ahead, Jonathan.
What I was going to say is, in terms of like what I got is what I use the most, and it was probably the safety squat bar from Rep Fitness. It's a standout. I use it often. I use it for a couple of basically 2 exercises, but it gets used multiple times a week. And I only just got the Athena in, so I don't want to actually go to that because it's a 2023 drop anyway.
I mean, for me, new equipment, I love my preacher pad, and I've had very little contact with Garage Gym Lab, so I just love it. And I was going to throw out AbMat actually when you asked that question earlier, Jake, about companies coming out swinging. I mean, AbMat crushed it, and I'm curious about them going into next year. But my favorite, I love my preacher pad, and I've been using it for all kinds of stuff. Favorite old piece of equipment this past year would be my Criterion armbar. It has rotating handles and was made up through the 90s, and I'll have some content on my channel and then hopefully some content on the podcast concerning it very soon. I've been posting some pictures of it and getting a lot of interest.
I'm still stuck. Yeah. So the big pieces I can recall that I got in 22, I got 2 pieces from Stray Dog that were really good. It was the Alpha Bench and the Goat, and both of those systems are great. And I'd love to say that the Alpha Bench is my favorite piece, but I'm a strongman. I use it more for doing incline flies than I use it for anything else. We really don't bench that much. And I got the Havocs, the quick adjust triads this year. And the triad design has been a favorite of mine for a long time now. And the quick adjust is a little bit quicker. Plus it's a little bit higher engineered. It goes better. It worky, nicey better. But yeah, as for a favorite, I keep on coming back to, I got a camera system. It's actually the same camera that I was using for this. And then a software package that I'm using. And we talk about tech in the garage gym space. And I've traditionally been kind of a hater. But one of the things that I've been doing for my graduate program is a class in biomechanics. And I've been setting up my cameras 90 degree, in the front and then 90 degrees to the side. And I've been running a lot of biomechanical analysis on myself. And so as of late, I've been using that a lot. And it's actually been really beneficial to me. So it's not necessarily a piece of equipment like people would think, but really kind of getting in there, dial in technique on certain things has been really nice. So no real answer, riding the line on 3 different things, but it is what it is.
No worries. All right, let's move on to some 2023 questions. So number 1, this was a recent Sunday survey discussion. What's an equipment manufacturer that's going to make some noise in 2023?
I already kind of gave my answer. I'm really curious about AdMat, and not just the pace that they've been keeping, but the eclectic nature of it. I guess I would say, like they're coming out with just these pieces of equipment or products that just kind of strike me as very original. So I'm curious about them.
I think a lot of people are motivated to work with AdMat as well. And I'm pretty sure it started before Adam at Garage Gym Lab, but the amount of collaboration that Dylan does with the community is outstanding. And like you said, very eclectic. We're seeing, I always mess it up, the chest up pad all the way to like a new hip thrust pad to like a roller you stick on a sleeve, barbell bomb.
Just that small like landmine grip. I'm probably screwing up the name, but the grip for the landmine, just small stuff like that. That's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what they're up to.
I think Bridge Built and Surplus Strength are going to be coming at it pretty hard. Sorry, I cut you off there, Mark.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. No, yeah. I've been hearing, I don't have any relationship with, Surplus Strength whatsoever, but, it just it seems like every time, I see them online, they keep talking about a big 2023 lineup. So I'm really excited to see what they have coming out there. But my answer, I guess I'm gonna have 2 companies that kind of come to mind as to who I think is going to make a big splash in 2023. So my wishful thinking one is Rogue. I mean, like we discussed, they were kind of hit or miss in 2022. Even up until like early 2022, like they were a bit, Bill Henniger was teasing, that they were going to revamp their entire line of specialty bars, and so far all we've seen was the CB4 and the multi-grip bars. So I mean, I'd assume we still have the trap bar coming. We still have a safety squat bar, I'm assuming, and who knows what other specialty pieces are out there. So that's and I mean the Manta Ray bench as well, like we talked about. So that's the wishful thinking one. The one I think is actually going to really impress is going to be bulletproof equipment, bulletproof strength equipment. Actually, yeah. So yeah, I just got their isolator in, and I mean, so far I've only been playing around with it for a little bit, like literally just right before this call, and so far it seems like it's living up to the hype so far, and
awesome.
If all of the other pieces that he's teased so far, even come close to delivering, as like what he's saying they're going to do, then I definitely think, they can establish themselves a little bit better.
Now, from my perspective as a consumer, I want a bunch of companies to just knock it out of the park, because the more new stuff that can get released, it's just good competition is just great for the consumer. And so I want a lot of other companies to step up and just take flight. And I want to be wrong, but I think it's going to be rep again. The reason is because when you're in the lead, it's easier to stay in the lead. And it looks like, from my perspective, once they went with free shipping, and they kind of took off a little bit, and they got the process in place to create this new equipment. And you can see the iteration of how they tease it a little bit, then they advertise it just a little bit, then they do the pre-order, and it's just this constant like leapfrogging. And you can already see on their website, they've got like 3 new pieces of equipment that they've teased and that they're going to be releasing probably first quarter of this year. So it's like, in my mind, I think they're going to be really hard to beat, because if they do that the whole year, just continuing that process, they're going to have a lot of stuff in terms of in terms of quantity, in terms of releases, that might be hard to beat.
Kurt, I want to hear about Bridge Built.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll talk about them. I was just down at their showroom. I'm going to be going back down there pretty soon. I have the advantage of being 20 minutes away.
Oh, cool.
Or maybe, okay, that's an exaggeration. 40 minutes. Sorry. I also wanted to get back. So you said that when you're in the lead, it's easy to stay in the lead. And I think that there's a lot of momentum that comes with the 2022 releases from Rep. But when you release that many things, that big of a catalog, I wonder if it's difficult to continue to release even more things, because with those being import items, that there's a lot that goes into designing any piece of equipment. But when you import your stuff, not only do you have to design it, you then have to have it manufactured somewhere else, get it to you. There's a whole bunch of extra steps there that are outside of your control. And so I wonder, from Rep's point of view, do they feel like it's easier for them to, be the alpha dog in 2023 because they were in 2022? Or do they think it's going to be a little bit more difficult because of how hard they hit? I don't doubt that they're going to do great. I'm just curious their perception. As for Bridge Build, so Bridge Build has a bunch of stuff that Patrick was showing me around their showroom, and I didn't sign an NDA with them or anything, but I don't think it's the right time for some of those things to get shared. But very just cool, innovative, in that kind of classic Bridge Built look. Like I think that Bridge Built equipment kind of just has a look to it. The very small details. I don't want to use the word bougie because I feel like it has such a negative connotation, but it's just nice. And Patrick cares. So polished. That's a perfect, yeah. So polished is a way better one. Patrick, if you're listening to this, Mark said it best, not me. But yeah, their stuff is just so polished, so refined. Very small details matter, and Patrick legitimately cares a whole bunch, like a lot. So it's very small details make a very big difference to him. And then yeah, so that's Bridge Built.
I'll be looking for that stuff on your channel there, Kurt, because I am really very interested in Bridge Built solely because of the best storage I've ever seen in a home gym. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys follow this guy on Instagram. You might know who I'm talking about, Steve Fauth. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Steve. It's Fauth. He has some amazing weights, globe dumbbells, deep dish, you name it. And I love that he uses all of his weights. That's one of my big things about vintage weights. You got to use them. It's not a museum, it's a gym. And it's a simple thing that he did with Bridge Built. And I don't know whether it was him or whether it was Bridge Built, but he turned the dumbbells vertical. And there's something about his globe dumbbells just like hanging, and the round heads that he has that just catch the eye, and they're just so different and so cool in his storage. And he has so much in there, but it doesn't look crowded, which is a testament, I think, to Bridge Built and what they did for him.
I'm looking at it right now off to the side of my screen, and yeah, that's their old storage system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, I was just so impressed by that for a while now. And I don't even know Steve that well. That my exchanges tend to be like, wow, that's amazing. And then he says, hey, thanks. That's about our relationship.
Yeah. Steve has one of the nicest setups I've ever seen. I thought everyone had good answers here. Mark, I really liked your answer about bulletproof. It seemed like, they kind of started teasing products like 6 months ago, and we're finally starting to see them in the wild. Mm-hmm. And he's been like really showcasing the journey quite a bit to just show what's been happening. But it seems like the products are coming in and they seem nice. But you just, over the last 6 months, you just we're like, is this legit or not?
Right.
So the teases were just amazing. They looked like the most perfect home gym pieces you'll see. Not all of them. Some of them are a little overkill, but just really cool innovation there. Rob, you mentioned AbMat. I'm not sure if you saw, but it's a hot take. Probably won't happen. But you also kind of we mentioned Rogue. I definitely see like AbMat as the ideal acquisition target for Rogue.
I'll put a spin on that, Jake.
Let's hear it.
I don't know if I listened to that, and that's where I'm referencing it. I know your hot take that Rogue might pick up AdMat, acquire AdMat. I don't know. I mean, they're fairly young men over there at AdMat. I don't know if they want to retire just yet or, be owned by somebody, have a little cushion in the bank and still work for someone else. But my hot take is that maybe they won't get acquired by Rogue, but maybe they'll just have some more than just collaboration, some firm partnerships. Like I floated out on Instagram about a surplus strength / AdMat, collaboration on a piece of equipment. And when I did that, it then struck me, these are two companies on the rise that aren't really stepping on each other's toes. What if they had a really strong collaboration and contract together? That would be something that hasn't, I don't think, been seen of recent years. Two companies really working together to crush it. So rather than acquisition, strong collaboration.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how that would work.
A lot of contracts and lawyers, probably.
Right. A lot of exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
AdMat would really have to knock it out of the park. A lot of their products seem more like singles and doubles right now, but yeah, they could hit a home run, get something like the actual AdMat. That is probably still their number one selling product, but we'll see.
Bulletproof. Let me ask you. I'm not well versed. What, is there a product their marquee product? I'm not knowledgeable on them.
Right now, it seems like it's the isolator, since that's the one that they've been teasing the longest. But
okay,
I'd imagine their PCD, its posterior chain developer, is probably going to be a popular one, assuming it's not crazy priced, just because of how much it can do, and it looks like it's actually practically designed as well. So it's not like where you're going to get one thing like loose functionality in one spot and for the sake of adding functionality somewhere else, at least for the most part. I mean the reverse hyper setup was but he mentioned that they got that fixed, so we'll see. But yeah, the isolators, they're big one as of right now, but that's probably because it's the only one that's really even out right now.
I'm seeing the T-bar row Viking press combo attachment, which looks pretty cool. Kind of big, but cool. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like he has a lot of patents too.
Yeah.
So who knows? He could be somebody to just keep an eye on in the next 5 years. And
yeah, I mean he's not starting from the ground up, and lifting himself up from his bootstraps. He's an established entrepreneur. I'm pretty sure he's like a millionaire already. And
Gotcha.
mentioned this is like he has like a boot camp chain, and he's also just like incredibly ripped. He's like a bodybuilder and seems like a really nice guy. So
seems like a great Garage Gym Experiment interview. You need to get him on there, Jake.
I have interviewed him.
Yeah, I need to listen to it clearly. I don't know. So I'm going to go back and listen to it.
Oh, it's all right. It was probably like 8 months ago or something like that. 6 months ago.
All right.
And it was
I've got my homework. I'm going to go listen.
It was 6 months ago, like right when he started teasing products. I think he started pre-sales of some stuff. And
that's probably why I skipped that episode. I was like, I don't know. This.
Yeah. Well, anyways, last question. This one's this one isn't company specific, but outside of something that you mentioned in the previous question, make a prediction for the home gym industry in this next upcoming year or the next few years. I'll say that you can say next 5 years or this next year.
You have to go find a Nostradamus hat.
All right, I'll go first since no one else wants to step forward. I mean, I think the home gym community is going to really continue to take a dive in terms of, like, obviously the peak was end of 2020, beginning of 2021, where the demand was really high, but the inventory was starting to come in. And it's like, I think it's just the people that enjoy the home gyms are going to stay here. We've got our core, but again, how many open trap bars can you have in your home gym? Most people, the answer is going to be maybe one. So I think we're going to see the demand just go down, and the competition from all these companies that have been created, which is great for the consumer, is going to be higher. It's going to be tough to kind of make your piece of the pie. So I think, the big companies are going to be okay because they can still sell to a lot of like the retail chain gyms, but more and more people are going to keep going back to the gym because they need that motivation, or it's just that convenience, or it just saves them money.
So I'd like to jump on with that one. But a little bit of a different take on it. So a lot of the military guys I know are actually going the opposite direction to where having a home gym is becoming more attractive. And that's because probably a little bit of the culture there with, so for instance, one of my guys tested positive for something, and now he can't come to work for 5 days. Fitness is a pillar in military service, and a lot of these guys are really sick of having cycles continually interrupted by, not being able to come to work and having the sniffles. And so I've been seeing a lot of guys that have actually.
I thought you meant steroids.
Oh yeah, steroids. No, they don't directly test for steroids.
Oh, okay.
Or they do, but it has to be like command directed. Just a little hack for you guys. I'm definitely open to the idea. I'm just not doing it yet. So if my commander's listening to this, you can get me tested all you want, but it's not going to come back positive yet. But
Sorry.
past that. But yeah, no, past that. I think so. I guess is the garage gym community getting smaller? Maybe I just live in a bubble, because I get a lot of guys that are reaching out and they're like, "Hey, I'm active duty. I'm stationed here. This is kind of what I'm wanting to do. What should I get?" And then I'll look up and find if they're closest to Fringe or Rogue, or if they're closer to maybe some small manufacturer somewhere else, Black Widow, those kind of companies, and kind of directing in those kind of directions. Like, hey, if you want something, here's something local that you can get made. But I've been seeing more and more military and specifically just active duty guys that are trying to get their home gyms up. And it's probably a combination of not being able to go to the gym sometimes. Sometimes the gym's just closed too. Like you'll show up in the morning and the gym's just closed. So that's been my experience. No prediction yet.
My guess is going to be that we're going to see kind of like the revival of like all-in-one training type machines. So like similar to those old like you guys know what I'm talking about. You could go on the marketplace right now and I think we'll see a revival of that.
Universal,
but, where there's going to be. These machines are going to do a lot of different things in a small footprint. Whether or not they'll do them well, I'd hope they're better this time around. But yeah, similar to the points everyone else has made here. Like with it does, at least from my perspective, it does seem like the home gym community is kind of shrinking up a little bit. So with that, you can only sell so many barbells, so many dumbbells, so many sets of plates. So they're going to kind of have to start thinking outside of the box and kind of trying to get those the people who stayed within the home gym world and just try to get them to add on to their gyms as the best they can.
I would agree with that, Mark, but I'd also add on to it that one of my predictions is that we've got this core, if you will, home gym owners that have stayed and that have not the gyms opened back up after COVID and they didn't go back necessarily, or at least back full time. Maybe they went back for cardio, but they have weights at home, whatever. But I think what sometimes we don't take into consideration is just the inherent advertisement of the lifestyle that happens in the neighborhood and that happens in the workplace and happens in the friendship groups that, for everyone that went back, well, there's some that stayed and that are still positing that. And when they have people over the house or they, talk about it at work or they get on social media, it's inherently advertising this lifestyle of having a home gym and the ease of it and the benefits of it. And we talked about companies a lot tonight, but we're also just talking about how nice it is to have our home gyms. So I think there's a crop of, my prediction is a lot of young people that as they get their first residence, as they get their first home, thinking about it, a home gym will be a priority just as much as whatever, having a nice backyard. And that's my kind of optimistic view of it, is that the home gym community is going to continue to grow because that seed has been planted, that kind of growth inherently is there. More specifically within the community, and this is might be a little wild to some, something that I think is growing and will continue to grow would be the very small kind of niche areas of grip strength and arm wrestling and things of that nature. That's why I specifically wore my favorite company for grip strength, Arm Assassin Strength Shop. They have great stuff. So no affiliation, just love them. Please get out there and check them out. And they got a cool logo too. It's octopus. My kids love it. So I just think it's, you've got your home gym. You want to spend time in it. You want to work out in it. You want to have fun in it. And grip strength is fun. Arm wrestling's fun and it's easy, at least at first. If you want to get really good at it, it's hard. But I think those little tiny kind of areas are going to grow more. And I wouldn't call it a tiny area, but Kurt, strongman, I think is going to continue to grow too in the home gym space. And it's, much more popular than what I just named, grip strength and things. But I think it's going to grow.
I hope it does. And talking back to your Arm Assassin, when you said Arm Assassin, I was like Napalm Nightmare, but I don't want to say it before I looked it up. But yeah, Napalm Nightmare.
It's very cool.
One of the greatest training tools ever.
That's Jed Johnson. Yeah.
As for, so I'll make my prediction. I'll actually make one. I would bet that one of the major stock home builders, so like I'm talking like one of the larger conglomerates, so like Ryan Homes, those kind of, they're not low end, but the kind of affordable homes, I bet you that they start to include some sort of floor plan that includes an option to be converted into gym space, whether it's in the basement or whether it's an option for maybe a third stall in the garage with a level floor. That'll be my prediction. Not equipment related, but definitely gym related. Be curious to see if we get it.
I would love a basement with high ceilings, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I'm in a garage gym still, I tried to get this builder to do a 9-foot ceiling, and the amount of money that they said it would cost, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
It's the open ceiling that allows me in the basement to do overhead press. I have it perfectly spaced that I can fit between the rafters. Nothing bigger than a 25-pound plate, but I can fit between the rafters.
I was just going to say you're limited on load. We're using bumpers, I can't do any.
I own a lot of 25-pound plates. It's fine.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one to end on that one, Kurt. Definitely see home owner value going up with something like that. So, but anything else before we close it?
I think there's a lot of growth already, and I think all of us named a lot of potential for growth. So it makes me excited for the oncoming year. Home Gym Con, of course, will be a good time. So, heck yeah, here we come.
All right, that's going to do it.